Wait, are you in OurShip?
Say
Yep.
what?
Oh, okay, never mind. I found you.
To the northwest.
The northwest.
Hmm.
Northeast, no?
Northwest
you're right.
of where we were.
Yeah.
But we
relative.
were located in the northeast already.
We need a OurShip to navigate the latency of our FigJam files.
I'm starting to tell people that we found the end of Fig Jam just to see, like,
Yeah.
so far no one's been like, wait, what? They're just like, okay. And I'm like, you don't get it. I'll try someone else. Because I want someone to be like, there's an end. There's an end.
Mhm.
We found it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
RB
All right.
Dragons.
So John and I grouped based on all of our responses earlier, just in the main buckets that we talked about. And from here, basically what we're thinking, and that's up here in proposed next steps. So first we have to decide if we need more information massaging, because John and I can do that. Like if we need to format this in a different way. And then the proposal is that Tony takes this information. So this is largely Tony, you can let us know if this all makes sense and work narrative into it. Because you have the best voice and like storytelling ability. And then after Tony, Dave would do a take because he likes to add flourish and tie the thing together. And Jordan's kind of part of that, but Jordan has a good eye for lore and like story logic. So it might be Dave and Jordan working on that together. To pull it to like wrap the thing up. And then after that, I think there's some group thing that we do. And this might not work out clean, but this is the proposal.
Yeah. It's worth a shot.
So
Works for me.
the question is, based on the information we have now, yeah, Tony, you can direct John and I, and we'll, because we can collapse things more.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some of
So-
these are still a little blurry, like they're mixed together. Some of them I think could be deduplicated in a way, and we could just like find the most unique sort of like phrases from each category. But just like most sort of relevant or something else too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know what we could do to help it, but we want it to feel like a story. Is that something we want to try out for the initial pass?
Yeah, so let's talk about that, like kind of the overall. I mean, whatever
'Cause
voice you used earlier and you tend towards this sort of fun, playful, like the voice is, I think, Dave, you can jump in here with creative direction because you have a better eye for it. But that's, I think, what we're looking for now. Like how, like as a group, we should talk about, yeah, what's the preferred, I don't know, story structure? Like what is that? What is that?
Yeah, because it feels pretty distinct with like the way I took it versus what Dave did, which was like very almost, what's the word I'm looking for?
Chunky.
Prescriptive and chunky and like this.
Yeah.
And so it's just I don't think either one is better than the other. I just don't know which one makes the most sense for what we want to do.
Yeah, this is where we sort of loop in how we figure the page is going to lay out. We're back to that.
Okay.
Like in the style that I did, like it's sort of discrete blocks, and then we could dress up those blocks. But like it's sort of premised on there being like a top level navigation kind of. You could click through them, right, and then go to each of those blocks in a way, right? There's no explicit transition or anything like this.
Yeah, it's almost like there's no hand holding per se.
Yeah.
It's just like an outline type
Walkthrough.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we could do transitionary material, like in the sense that you do it graphically or something. You do like a and then and this kind of thing interstitially. But you could navigate to each chunk itself. This is, I would then probably soften it and get it in the page and then work it into a like more of a flow, I guess. So whereas you had it flowing from the get-go. Yeah, so it's sort of like the bringing in the visuals to compose it on the page is kind of where we need to figure that out.
Yeah.
It's
I think so. I don't think it's your task, Tony, to create flow across all of the things. Just create flow within each section, like the, and then we can
So-
figure out stitching it together because we can add in the transitional material later and figure out how to stitch it. Because it's a big thing if it's like, okay, now you write the whole website, just block it. Latency.
So each one would be like siloed, is what you're thinking?
I think so, and then we can spackle it together.
Is that how you think though, Tony? Like,
I mean, I think it's doable.
Could affect your
It's
writing
just
style, right? Like,
right. I mean, I haven't tried it that way. It's because I have been doing it from the perspective of like, well, when talking about like crews,
Yeah.
what do you need to
Yeah.
know about like the expeditions and stuff like that? But I mean, it's also possible to think of like the latency in isolation. I think that makes sense to me, where I could just write about the latency, and then you can talk about expeditions with the idea of you already know about the latency, and so
Mhm.
it could work.
Whatever works for you. I just don't want you to feel like it's like a huge lift to if it is hard to stitch it all together.
No, I mean I can definitely do a pass at it. Whether or not it's good, that's something else.
yeah, if you're down to do that, like we can see what pops out and then fiddle with it from there. Yeah, and then because I'm trying to figure out when we try to stick it in the page and start mucking
Yeah.
about with the feel of it.
yeah, I like his approach. I think Tony has the right perspective, and like he's been around. I don't know. Like I like him taking the first pass, and then we see like how clean that gets, and then what we can offload into visuals or what we can fill in with visuals like around it. That seems pretty good.
Cool.
All right.
All right, so we add in transitional material as needed, and then after Tony pass, we're gonna see what visuals web affordances offer, right?
Tony is the tip of the spear.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Tip of
think
the
Jordan
tongue.
and Dave like have a sense for getting this thing on the page. And Dave, whatever the thing is, flourishes and tying it together is how you've described it. So that's how I
Yeah.
described it.
Yeah, there's probably like sort of these little bows or whatever. If we want to get it into a flow that works on the web, like, but if they're distinctly chunked, it means that they will read distinctly chunked, which is like, if you were to scrape everything out and just read that, then you would get what you need. Yeah.
And that's a good thing where the text can sort of stand alone in that place, and you could almost like read it in the order. Would that be an effect?
I can't promise that because I don't know. I think they have to be read in some sort of order because the context is going to be very important.
Yeah.
In the way that they kind of build on each other. But I guess it's not that you're following like a particular thread as much as it's just expanding on the world layer by layer.
Yeah.
Feel
Because
into
like
it.
yeah, I'll try something. But I like in my mind, I think like it would be really difficult to write just about ships without knowing what the latency is.
Yeah,
Yeah. There is
I think
definitely
there
a
is some
sandwich of
hierarchy. Yeah,
you
or
need to know the
contextual.
latency and that can be just the way I feel it, you know, we have the box top, and then that gives you the generalized feel with maybe some stuff, and then there's like a descending into the latency, and it's like, this is the noise, however that's explained, and then you're set up to be like your ship, right? Your crew, expeditions, and then drop them into Isla Cadora to take them home effectively. So yeah, but without the sea, the ship makes less sense.
Of course.
And without the ship, the crew makes less sense. And without the crew, the expedition makes less sense, you know.
Yeah.
So there is like a building.
Cool.
And however we could support that for Tony, Dave, and Jordan, like whatever phase you're in, like just speak up. Like if you need all of us to get in a room and I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever that is, like we can like on the fly sort of figure out what makes sense. Like if you get stuck too.
Yeah. I should be able to get it all done tomorrow, but what I will do for sure, because they will be kind of siloed, is I'll just share them in Discord as
Cool.
they get done. That way we don't, like, maybe like if I get the latency done first, which is the plan, then I don't know if that'd be helpful for Dave and Jordan to work off of that on its own.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah,
I
we
think
could
it's
also,
nice
I
to
mean,
share just
we could do
generally.
co-working time too, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And just be
Sure.
around in the same place, and then
That would actually be nice for me because I need to pull together a slide deck for the show and tell tomorrow that I have titles on slides so far.
Titles is a great place to start.
I mean, it's the
Right at
same
the beginning.
stuff that it's this though. So I'll be in the same wheelhouse. I'm just don't need to tell us the same story because it's like, I don't know, a bunch of nerds hanging out. So, and we don't have the story yet. We do.
yeah, I don't know, Jordan, you and I could sort of start mocking up some stuff.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I like a list of stuff I'd like to just talk through about
Yeah.
this visual stuff, man. I have a whole just like, yeah, I would love to get into it.
Ooh, finally. Cool. Yeah, I mean, all right, well, what time do you want to do it? Earlier. I think that-
I've been 9 to 10. That was it.
That's noon here.
11 or noon, okay.
Do that.
I mean, did you want? Oh, I could do 8 to 9.
I'm game for whatever in the morning.
Do you have a preference between noon or 10? I guess. Did I get that right? Yeah.
Yeah, you got it right.
What about everybody else?
Down whatever, but I may be slightly distracted trying to get the stuff thing fully wrapped.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I mean, do we want to do 2 co-working sessions?
I mean, I think it'll just take me a while to get it done, so I can just be on for a while whenever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
do
might
the
be
early
just
one and
hanging
then-
out. Yeah.
See where it goes. So what time? 10
Yeah, I guess we'll start
our
10,
turn.
10, 9, 8 co-working.
Okay.
Cool.
And then I'll bounce
And
out
then
from 9 to
people can bounce when they need to. Yeah.
bounce back in.
Sounds good.
Sick.
All righty.
Efficient.
Super.
Don't tell Big Dan about the opera and the horses hanging. It's fun.
They were fake. I asked. They're